Did you watch the Super Bowl at all?
No, I could care less.
Right, everyone, we're back on the Predicted podcast where we analyze the news through the lens of prediction markets on predicted.org. I'm your host, Jacob Studwell. I'm here with Garth Yuckham. Garth, we will get into your trades. I don't want to, just off the top, really rough with the government shutdown. I know we'll get there. But I do want to first flag, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, youtube.com/at predicted official, substack.com/ at the predicted podcast. We're going to be putting a few newsletters that we've previously written and all future newsletters on the Substack as well. You can listen to us on Substack. So lots of places to find us. But Garth, let's start with the government shutdown trade. Really, really rough. Just to recap the listeners, about a month ago, you traded no government shutdown before February 2nd. 2,100 shares at 71 cents each. That's a little bit less than $1,500. And things are really going your way for a while. I mean, if we were
Bye-bye.
like even after the Renee Good situation, it still looked like we're still gonna like pile through. Everyone's just kind of gonna get on board. And it was the Alex Preddy killing that just did you in,
Oh,
and you,
oh,
how could you have predicted, expected it? And we talk a lot about volatility. So any last words after losing 1,500 of your $3,500?
I mean, what a roller coaster. I mean, if there's a market that like sums up the political mood of what's going on, I mean, that feels like it. You 12 appropriation bills, they waited to the last minute. You thought they'd get there. Then we had the unfortunate, events in Minneapolis. And then they said, okay, we'll buckle down. Let's get this. We got some new demands. Okay, but we'll power through. And when they powered through, and then Lindsey Graham was like, nope.
And in other portfolio trading competition news, my pick for Mark Teixeira winning Texas 21st. I bought $100 at 51 cents each. I got a Trump endorsement. Okay, so I got a Trump endorsement. The great Mark Teixeira, winning baseball player, gets the Trump endorsement. So I think it's going to be a great $100 spent there. I have a few more trades on tap for today, so we will get there. But the trading competition already going sour, not even 2 months in. So we'll continue to track it. I do have $27 in profit actively. Garth, you do not have any profit. And
Don't
we
say.
haven't like totally defined the baseline, so we're just gonna say anything that loses, you're not gonna like go negative, so you have to gain it back. We're just gonna, it's just in the garbage. You just lose the money, you just lose the cash. That's okay. That's
Works for
fine.
me.
We'll throw it out. You have $1,800 left in cash. So we'll figure out some trades today. We'll get into the government shutdown now.
It seems like the DHS funding is like they have nothing to talk about. It's like they're supposed to be negotiating, and yet nobody sat down at the table yet. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, they just love like they're honestly they have ADHD, right? Because they love procrastinating. They love to just let's just like wait until there's like such little time that everyone just kind of has to agree, or just like you're forcing them to choose between a government shutdown and an agreement.
I think it's even more than that. It's just like some sort of Twilight Zone moment at the moment. Like there's this faux outrage of like, oh, we're gonna shut it down. We don't have funding. But then like one side gives this list and it's a non-starter, and then the other side, boo-hoos it in the press, and usually somebody is sitting on, in the middle of this and saying, okay, well, I'll talk to you, and I'll talk to you, and I'll talk to you, but that's not happening.
Right. I mean, even Fetterman is like, yeah, don't even
It's like,
count on it.
bro, not
Like,
happening. But
I
if you
think
look at
he's
the
getting fed up with his
pun
whole. Honestly, he's not enjoying
intended,
the. He's
and the timeline's too short. I mean, the timeline's way too short. I mean,
Always. It always is.
it's President's Day weekend. I mean, like,
They have another
bizarre.
vacation. Honestly, that's really the theme of our podcast. Like every single time we
Hmm.
talk, we're like, and they're going on vacation in a week. So like, what are they gonna do?
Had I known I'd come out of college many, many, many moons ago, and I'd sit here and be talking politics, and one of the things I would be talking about would be the laws that they were
No.
creating,
Oh
or
no.
the debates of this or that. It would be their vacation schedule.
Of course. Of course. I mean, it's
They don't
so
work.
frustrating. Like even you said like they're leaving on Thursday. I was like, why are they leaving on Thursday? The holiday's on a Monday. We all work Fridays before a holiday Monday. Like it's so frustrating. Why do they
And,
get so many vacation
and
days?
it's really well. They got to travel, so there's a travel day built in.
Travel
So
day,
they got to be there
like
for
they're
Saturday,
an NFL team,
Sunday.
like they're going to the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. Oh, we need a couple travel days. Oh, you know,
I mean, well, you got to treat Maine the same as you treat, Washington or Alaska or Hawaii for that matter, I guess.
yeah, yeah. That's fair. Honestly, the people going home to Alaska, I feel for. Like that.
You
It's
mean
it's
the
it's
person,
our trip.
the person. It's not even people; it's the person.
So true. It's
Um,
so true. That one. I mean, how outnumbered do you feel when you're from Alaska and you show up and you're like, "We're ready to go." Outnumbered by your senators is a different thing.
it's a different vibe, right?
Yeah, like you're like, wait, actually, am I the most powerful one here? Like, they're like, no, you're not.
No,
Definitely not. Did you watch the Super Bowl at all?
no, I could care less.
It's like,
I've watched many Super Bowls in the last probably 15 years, and it's just such a boring spectacle because it's more spectacle than it is game.
yeah, yeah, it's
So,
constantly boring. Like
uh,
every third year is interesting, basically. Like, yeah. So I mean,
mhm.
look, the halftime show I thought was a generally non-controversial.
Other than
Uh,
it was all in Spanish.
yeah, yeah, right. Other than
Oh, that
the premise is that yes, Bad Bunny sings and raps
in
exclusively in
Spanish.
Spanish. But
Yeah.
you saw the Trump tweet though. That's the
Oh,
key
man.
here.
What a
Oh, you have
loser.
not?
No, I saw it. But what a
Oh, okay.
loser. I
Okay.
don't mean a loser as in Trump is a loser. I mean, like, what a loser of an argument.
It's definitely a loser of an argument. It's not. I you know what? It's I think it's the end part that's like I find most funny
The stock
because
market?
the stock
Wait,
market definitely is the meat and potatoes of the argument, right? No Spanish halftime show, stock market good, but the kicker, the caboose of the argument is they need to change that kickoff rule in the NFL, which is one of Trump's main things that he's
it's
been
fair.
very upset about.
It just detracts from everything that they are trying to achieve. And when they first came into office, we had these conversations about flooding the zone, and they did
Yep.
it perfectly. I
Yeah,
mean,
they did.
love them, hate them, they did it perfectly. It distracted from everything.
Yeah,
Now
they
the
led the
distraction,
conversation,
they
right?
led the
They
conversation
led
exactly,
the
exactly.
news. Yes, they
Now the
led. They were
distractions are
leaders.
leading the distractions.
It's true. And I will say, speaking of, leading distractions, Epstein is not going away.
In many ways, what's more fascinating about it is just how many people it's grabbing. Nobody's
Mhm.
safe, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh, there is you could make a headline every single day, and it was over the weekend. Keir Starmer's chief of staff, the architect of labor's recovery, coming back
Right.
into power, and he's the one that advised him on Mandelson. I mean, you. I mean, that's just not a good look. I mean, it's going to pop up. It's a game
Now,
of whack a
but
mole.
it's taken everybody. It's they're taking everyone from the bottom up, right? If you're the least important person, if you have the least important job, you take you first.
Yep.
Adia, right? That's the big name. Eventually they'll get to the Harvard professors. That now we're getting to pieces of government, but we have not
Yeah.
yet reached is the actual administration. We haven't gotten to Howard Lutnick, who clearly has a huge Epstein problem. I think it will level up to the point where once people start running campaigns, this will be a bedrock of certain MAGA campaigns. And we saw it with James Fishback, and that's a good early indicator. James Fishback said he will prosecute anybody named in the, James Fishback, kind of a sideshow. But again, these sideshows give you strains and indicators of what is coming, what is next, what is up on the conversation in the Republican sphere. So it's fascinating.
It's all wild. It's just wild to me.
Yeah.
The things that they get distracted with, I mean, I keep getting back to this. Is like the numbers are so bad heading into these midterms. And I know we're a long, long way from the midterms. Political century. Might as well be. But like, I don't see any winning arguments right now for the Republicans. They've ostracized the Latinos who they brought in droves. They've ostracized the independents. They've ostracized the people who voted for them. I mean, many of the MAGA people that voted for them who were regarding the whole ICE immigration, taking it too far. I mean, that wasn't a loser argument. That was a winning argument. And they've completely turned it on its head. And Trump's approval ratings are 43%? No president since Truman has ever held the House, with approval under 50%. And 18 out of 20 have lost. 18 out of 20 have lost the House. Like that's... I mean,
he's 17 points underwater. I mean, and by the way, you do see his tone changing because he is 17 points underwater. You see a slight, and the Obama video, the King of the Jungle, whatever, again, a sideshow, but that reaction is a signal that Republicans know they're unpopular. They without being asked, they said this video is horrible, it's racist. Trump then wouldn't apologize, obviously, but he did take the video down, which is that's an official softening.
Is that a step in the right direction?
The word softening, it's such a trigger word for everyone. Yeah, turning a corner. Maybe let's say that instead. I wonder if we'll see further softening. And back to what arguments do they have? The only argument that they do have, and you see it in the Super Bowl tweet, is the stock market and people's 401ks. That's a good argument, but it's coupled with a crypto winter. So even that has its sharp edges, and the crypto people are not happy. So
well, crypto bros, not crypto bros who have all moved over to the Trump camp. That he brought over in 2024. And again, these people are now going, well, maybe the grass is greener somewhere else.
It could be. I mean, it could be with Ro Khanna. It could be with Nancy Pelosi and the Silicon Valley Dems. I don't know. The crypto bros go where the money is, where they succeed. They have and it's funny because they are very partisan. When they pick a side, they dig deep, really, really deep.
Yeah.
But they're also very fickle. They're happy to patch up the hole and move on.
I mean, it's like the Joe Rogans of the world, they've, that helped push Trump into this. The legislation that is supposed to cement this isn't going anywhere. I mean, so like,
what do they get? What do they win? What do they earn?
Exactly. What do they get? I mean, like, this is a transactional relationship.
Yeah.
And this shouldn't be that difficult with a House that is Republican and a Senate that is Republican. You've got yourself, 9 months? Well, we'll call it 7, because the campaigning.
I wonder if they try to do some lame duck stuff or something. It'd be interesting.
That would be the other side of the coin. That would be your get out of jail free card, depending on how bad it is. Maybe they'll finally wake up and say, "Oh crap, we got to do something."
It might be so bad that they actually spend November and December cramming. I mean, they're going to be no vacations there for any Republicans in November and December.
They're canceling Thanksgiving for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Thanksgiving canceled, Christmas late. You can go home on the 24th. Okay, you don't get to go
Yep.
home on the 10th like you usually do.
Oh
But
man.
back to Joe Rogan, by the way. So if we talk about Joe Rogan, we talk about New York comedian that I'm losing my mind, but we've got a brosphere, manosphere, as people like to call it.
Yes.
The the clips that come out from those manosphere podcasts are also starting to sour. They did not like Renee
Yes.
Good. They really did not like Alex Preddy. That really scared them. And these voices are influential, especially with the 45% of America that is now independent. The parties have now lost their influence. And we'll talk about this with endorsements and when you read polls and you read primary polls and you read general polls, you have to be aware that almost half the country is independent. And that is going to drive most of the behavior. And if you're independent and you're not registered with either party,
Yep.
Joe Rogan is your endorsement marker. He is going to tell you who to vote for. Joe
Yeah.
Rogan and maybe ChatGPT and a combination of the two. But those two are going to determine who you vote for. So it, you have to look out for these really influential voices that
Yeah.
voted for Trump, were excited about Trump, and it's souring a bit. It's souring a bit. Right now, we do have a void of like a news vacuum, and that happens after, very big monoculture events. We obviously just had the Super Bowl last night and Bad Bunny's performance, but it'll be interesting to see what fills the void. If it is primary conversation, we're less than a month out, probably.
So
Probably not.
here's a prediction. I mean,
Yeah.
and we were talking earlier about the recess, right? Well, where's everybody going this weekend? You know,
Mexico?
Munich. Everybody's going to you're
Of
going to
course.
Germany for the security conference. And do we remember what last time we had the security conference last year? JD Vance and his many talking points and the severing of the European American relationship. I have a fear, and this is a prediction again, another fear. God, there's a lot of fears today. That we might be talking about what happens in Munich all next week, and that'll take us within 2 weeks of the primaries in Texas.
Yeah. I do wonder if the Ukraine war might come back into the conversation a bit. That's kind of what you were alluding to, right? We did recently pass, I think it was 1 million casualties on the
2 million.
Russian side.
Oh, on
2
the Russian
million.
side, it's 2 million altogether.
2 million altogether.
Yeah,
And it was the most casualties since World War II for Russia. So
yeah,
it hasn't been able to capture the conversation for a little bit. And
for a
this
long time.
might be a good time for us to start talking about this ongoing war in Europe, which we've kind of ignored a bit. So it'll be interesting to see that
But
piece.
again,
We don't.
it's not even the hot property. I mean, that's Iran right now. Nuclear nuclear talks. I mean, there is some rumors or talk about a new nuclear deal with Putin with Russia. But again, maybe that's what will become up in Munich. But I think right now the hot property is Iran, and getting something done. I think that's possibly more likely, or at least sounds more interesting potentially for this administration.
All right, we're moving on. I think one of the bigger stories today, we had a huge University of Houston Hobby School of Public Affairs poll that came out this morning regarding the Texas Senate primary races. We had Crockett loading up a big number. She is up 8 points in this poll on
It's
Tallarico.
a
And if you look at
big
the
edge.
crosstabs, Tallarico is not winning any singular group.
I mean, the problem I have with a poll like this is it's 550 people, 4% plus margin of error. I struggle with a poll like this. I like that it's fresh. I mean, that's why it's getting news. It's a big number, +8, but it's a small sample size, 550 people. The last poll, which I think universally has been valued, Texas Public Opinion Research poll, was a dead heat I think it was 37-36 or 38-37, one of the two, but it was +1 Crockett, but effectively a dead heat. And I think that's got a little bit more value to it. I mean, because also if you look at the list that the New York Times is keeping, which is great. The other one is a Democratic sponsored poll from January 6th to the 15th, Crockett by +13. I mean, again,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a small sample size, very, very specific. I don't know how much I would put value in that. If you look at, again, if you go through all the polling, and granted it goes for since September, the numbers are all over the place. Crockett +8, Crockett +1, Crockett +13, Talrico +9, Crockett +8, Talrico +6, O'Rourke +17. I mean, Allred +4. I mean, it's this tells me that the numbers, giant grain of salt.
Yeah,
I think this race is closer than it
25
it
cents.
seems. I think so. From that perspective, no, I wouldn't. I think we need a little bit more information. Again, we were supposed to have this great debate, and debate didn't happen really because of what happened in Minneapolis and
Mm.
taken over. They decided to attack Trump and other things, ICE, et cetera, et cetera. So this one's a little hard for me to read because you can see the two divergent paths of the candidates, right? With Talarico and what he brings to the party, and what Crockett would bring to the party, and they're different takes on things, and that divergence. I can't. I need more. I need more information on this.
I do think when you need more information and the polling is telling you something all over the place, although there's something there with Crockett. I mean, again, like you said, you'd probably guess it as a dead heat. A dead heat is not Crockett 25 cents. Like, I do think,
True.
why not take Crockett at 25 cents and then get out once you hit 40 cents? Like, at some point, the traders are going to turn
That's fair.
around and say, what's going on? We need to adjust this pricing here. I think Talladega at 70 cents is pretty insane. 70 cents is, I mean, Ken Paxton, who's got, I think, more concrete polling on that race. And by the way, the Houston poll also covered the Republican
Yep.
race. Paxton up by 7 points on Cornyn, Hunt back at 17 points. We see Paxton being so clearly ahead of the pack in that poll. I do think there's some credence to Crockett at 25 cents because Paxton's at 50 cents.
I think there's a lot of confirmation bias in the Republican side of the race. Everybody's expecting that Paxton, the MAGA guy, Trump is going to ride to his rescue and endorse him, and he still hasn't. There's still no endorsements in this race. And then you've got the establishment people saying Cornyn's one of our leadership. This guy delivers for Texas. Why are we messing with that? And that is more of a tug of war there. And if you're a middle of the road type of person, you sit there and you go, how is this possible? Right? How does he continue to keep having success? And we know that the strength of the MAGA vote, or historically to a certain degree. So I just waiting for Donald Trump to just step in here and then kind of decide it.
I think let's talk about endorsements because you've hit on this, and this will be a theme throughout most of these races that we're going to talk about. I did write a column about Trump's endorsements this year,
Yep.
one being the Georgia Republican gubernatorial nomination. Right now, Burt Jones is actually down further from when I wrote that. He was at like 70 cents when I wrote that. Right now, he's at 50 cents. So the Trump endorsement of Burt Jones clearly not clicking anywhere, not really driving that race. Then we also have Trump's endorsement of Mike Lindell, my pillow guy, right now sitting at 34 cents behind Lisa DeMuth. And if you see that polling, Mike Lindell's a distant third, actually. He's not even second in that race. So I guess traders are putting some stock in the endorsement, but Mike Lindell, 34 cents after being endorsed by the President of the United States. I mean, that's
what we
good.
saw with Oz, right, in Pennsylvania with the
Yep.
Trump endorsement, drove him all the way to the race, to the general election, and then because he wasn't a good candidate. And I think with Trump's approvals being at 43%, being quite low, I mean, obviously we talked about, the ceiling and how far can he drop, but really he's kind of always stays where in the middle. His
Hmm.
window is just not very big. The endorsements, I think the Republican Party really has to decide, are we going with Trump? Are we going against Trump? And I think we're going to see mixed results for various different reasons in different races where different environmental situations or
Different states, different
characteristics, different
partisan
states
leans. Yeah.
exactly are going to play a major factor. Should the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, be win that? No, he's a lightning rod. He's a terrible candidate. I mean, he's a terrible candidate as opposed
It,
to
yeah, they're not going to have any shot in that race like
no,
Lindell is.
exactly. Paxton shouldn't win the race in Texas. Cornyn should win it. You need to shore up your if the Senate's coming into play, you have to elect Cornyn in your primary.
Yeah.
It's the only way
But
you have a
I have a
chance.
feeling, Garth, I have a feeling that if Trump does give his endorsement in this race, he's going to endorse Cornyn. I think if he
I think
doesn't
so.
endorse, it's an implied endorsement of Ken
Really?
Paxton. So if he stays out of that race, he still wants Ken Paxton to win. I would be kind of shocked if he pushed up Ken Paxton in this race because I think everybody around him can see the writing on the wall that Ken Paxton's not the strongest candidate. And
He's
I
not.
think they
No.
have learned some lessons with Kari Lake and lots of mistakes in the past with endorsing people that did terrible in the general election. I think the people around him are going to say, if you want to endorse Ken Paxton, stay out of the race. If you want to endorse somebody, you should endorse Cornyn.
I would like to think that that's true, because then that would be some semblance of logic and paying attention to
Strategy.
strategy and what the polls are. I mean, when we have seen them stay, within the rails to a certain degree, and some of their, people that they employ, right, and sticking behind them, and whether good or bad, they stick behind them. I would like to see it on the electoral side. It just we have way too many use cases where they haven't done that, and it's come back to bite them. And, you need to start hitting some home runs.
So let's continue on this endorsement route because you're saying Trump is unpopular, his endorsement means less. I feel the same way with the Democratic establishment, and I feel the same way when it comes to this Illinois Democratic Senate nomination between Krishnamurthy and Stratton. Stratton has now gotten every single main Democrat in Illinois, Tammy Duckworth, J.B. Pritzker, now Elizabeth Warren. You've had Hakeem Jeffries endorse
Yep.
Stratton. Stratton has gotten every key endorsement and still sitting at 36 cents right now on predicted. You see every single poll that comes out, she's pretty much down by double digits across the board. Even her internal polls are down on her chances. I think that tells you a lot about not just what people think about Trump and his approval, but it's also the approval rating of the Democrats. Remember, the Democrats have record
Yep.
low approval ratings on the party scale, and 45% of voters are independent. I'm just going to keep telling everyone that because half the
Yeah.
country is not paying attention to what the parties want. They don't care. They're not part of those parties. Now, in a lot of cases, they won't vote in these primaries, which is fair and true. But when you have a very strong voter base liking Krishnamurthy, liking what they're seeing, not caring about these endorsements, I'm starting to lose faith in Democratic establishment endorsements, not just Republican establishment endorsements. Republican establishment is basically just Donald Trump. But when we see these Democratic establishment endorsements not landing, you're going to want to predict the next one that doesn't land. And that brings us to the news over the weekend, which was Nancy Pelosi, the California, San Francisco, long time House Majority Leader, is
Yep.
endorsing Jack Schlossberg for New York 12. And if you listen to my interview with Bradley Tusk last week, you heard that he was so confident that Michael Asher was going to win. He was like, I know both Micah and Alex. He talked to them that morning. Very, very confident
Yep.
Micah was going to win. And we have a Democratic establishment leader who, weirdly, I mean, she never won a statewide race or a national race. So I called her a local politician. My wife didn't love that. She was like, Nancy Pelosi's not a local politician. But the point was that she was in the House for her whole career, right? So it's not like she has any connection to New York. She's probably
Yeah,
friends with
yeah,
Jerry Nadler. But besides that, Jerry Nadler's going to endorse Michael Asher. And I think
yeah,
with this endorsement, we also just shout out, we have a great market out on Jack Schlossberg. Will he get 10% of the
100%.
vote? And that will be in question. That is an interesting market. So we'll see when that gets a little bit more volume where traders think it will land.
We
You had,
also have a George Conway market. We also have a George Conway market for the same race.
right.
Crowded
And
field.
luckily, George Conway is at 5%. So I think it's a little bit more
Yeah,
attainable for George Conway. But
sure.
because Nancy Pelosi is endorsing Jack Schlossberg, I think you have to buy that news, but you don't buy it for Jack Schlossberg. You buy Michael Asher. He's now sitting at 59 cents. Michael Asher is a very good campaigner, very good politician. You heard it straight from Bradley Tusk, who is
Mm.
very involved in this scene. Jack Schlossberg is, frankly, not a real politician, not a real chance here in this race. He's now up 3 more cents today, 19 cents in this race. Alex Boris is at 21 cents, best offer 30 cents. But I think you have to buy Michael Asher at this cheaper price. You're actually kind of happy if you're a trader and you didn't get in this market, and Nancy Pelosi takes this endorsement and drives the price for Michael Asher down. Perfect time to buy. So I'm going to put $500 on Michael Asher at 59 cents. We'll do the math later, but that's my official trade. Give me that button, give me that stamp. And I think this is a great trade. And I do not buy this endorsement at all by Nancy Pelosi. It is not going to move this race at all.
So then why not take the no on Schlossberg then at 84 cents? Isn't that basically 16 cents pure
Garth,
profit?
as we've learned, certain things you don't want to pay certain prices for. I'm not convinced that Alex Boris is necessarily a competitor here. So that's why I'm taking the 59 cents on Michael Asher. It's a really good question. There's a lot of dogs in this race, so I might get burned with
Sure.
the 59 cents. But if I get burned, I'd rather get burned at 59 cents than 84 cents. So I
Well,
am going for that price of
but do
59 cents.
but your whole argument right there was that Schlossberg doesn't have a chance.
It's not necessarily that Schlossberg doesn't have a chance. It's that this headline is driving the price that I've been looking to get into. Michael Asher,
Okay.
who was at 70 cents, now he's at basically 60 cents. That's a sale for me. That's a sale, and I've
Fair enough.
been
Fair
interested.
enough.
And this is straight from Bradley Tusk. I mean, let's call it what it is. This is an endorsed trade here. Okay, I listen to the experts that I interview. Bradley Tusk is an expert. He knows New York. He knows that Michael Asher's going to win. Again, go back and listen to how he said it. It was just in the convincing way that he
I
said
mean,
Mike is going to win here.
Nadler's been in this district for I don't know how long, and Lasher is his mentee, and he's got his seal of approval. I think it's kind of a slam dunk at that point. Schlossberg, at least at the very moment, is creating a few waves with how he's campaigning.
All right, Garth, any last trades before we hop off? You need to come back in some way. You can bide your time a little bit, but you can't bide your time too much. You got $1,800 in the bank. I don't want you to run out of money, but I also want you to kind of gain a little bit of momentum. Do you like anything? Maybe something short term on the
Well, short
homepage?
term. Here it is. Here it is. Short term. DHS appropriations lapse. They got till Friday. I'll take the 11 cents. I definitely don't think that they're going to. I just don't think there's enough time on the clock. They're not talking. This has got, funding lapse written all over it. I don't even think that they can come together and have some sort of a short term, thing. I mean, the Democrats have basically said we're not going to do another short term, but that's their only out at the moment because they're not having conversations. They're not going to do a bigger bill.
Yep.
I'll take that.
All right, perfect. So give him 11 cents. The DHS appropriations lapse by February 14th. No. And we've got something on the board for you, Garth. I'm praying. You love these government shutdown markets. Clearly, this is your bread and butter. So I'm praying this goes your way. It's a long shot. I mean, admittedly, you're buying 11 cents here, but I believe in you. I trust you. All right, thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. Again, find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Substack, on YouTube. We're everywhere. Please listen, follow along, subscribe. Thanks everyone for listening on the Predicted Podcast.